Welcome, my friend, to the Money Books channel. The idea behind this channel is to explain everything about money. If you like the idea, follow me and turn on notifications to receive all the latest updates. There are a million ways to get rich and plenty of books on how to get there. But there's only one way to stay rich. It's a combination of prudence and paranoia. It's a subject we don't discuss enough. So let's start with a quick story about two investors who didn't know each other, but whose lives intersected in an interesting way almost a century ago. Jesse Livermore was the greatest stock trader of his age. Born in 1877, he became a professional trader before most people knew about trading stocks. And by the age of 30, his net worth was $100 million, adjusted for inflation. By 1929, Livermore was a household name and the most famous investor in the world. The stock market crash that same year cemented his legacy. That crash was the gateway to the Great Depression, wiping out more than a third of the stock market's value in a single week in October 1929, days later dubbed Black Monday, Black Tuesday, and Black Thursday. Panic crept into the heart of Livermore's wife, Dorothy, and she feared the worst when her husband returned home on October 29th. As reports spread throughout New York of the suicide of a number of Wall Street speculators. She and her children greeted him with tears, while her mother, terrified, went into another room to sob. According to biographer Tom Rubython, Livermore stood bewildered for a moment in the doorway before realizing what was happening, then calmly and happily delivered the good news. He had made a stroke of genius and good fortune by betting against the stock market. "You mean we're out of the woods?" Dorothy asked expectantly and cautiously. "No, darling," her husband replied with a smile. "It was the best trading day of my life. We're rich in every sense of the word, and we can do whatever we want." Overjoyed, Dorothy ran to her mother to tell her the good news and to ask her to stop crying. Jesse Livermore had made the equivalent of more than $3 billion in one day. He became one of the richest men in the world during one of the worst months in stock market history. And while the Livermore family celebrated their strange success, another man wandered devastated through the streets of New York. His name was Abraham Germansky, a real estate developer who had been a millionaire and had amassed a considerable fortune during the 1920s. He had done what successful New Yorkers did during the economic boom of the late 1920s. He had bet heavily on the rising stock market. On October 26, 1929, the New York Times ran a two-paragraph article depicting the tragic end of the Germansky story. Bernard H. Sandler, attorney at 225 Broadway, was approached yesterday morning by Mrs. Germansky of Mount Vernon for help in finding her husband, who had been missing since Thursday. Germansky, 50, works in real estate on the East Side, and, Sandler said, had invested heavily in the stock market. Sandler said Mrs. Germansky told him that a friend had seen her husband late Thursday on Wall Street near the stock exchange, and that she had seen him tearing data sheets into small pieces and scattering them on the sidewalk as he walked toward Broadway. That was the end of Abraham Germansky, as far as we know. They are two different stories, and let's return to Livermore. Jesse Livermore became one of the richest men in the world thanks to the October 1929 crash. The crash ruined Abraham Germansky and may have even killed him. But Livermore's story didn't end there. 4 years later, the two men's stories intersected again. After his phenomenal boom in 1929, the confident Livermore bet more and more and seems to have gone too far in accumulating debt, and in the end, he lost everything in the stock market. Livermore went bankrupt, and apparently consumed by shame, he disappeared for 2 days in 1933. His wife began searching for him, and the New York Times wrote in 1933, "James L. Livermore, speculator at 882 Financial, residing at 1100 Park Avenue, is missing and has not been seen since 3 p.m. yesterday." Livermore returned, but his fate was not good. Livermore eventually committed suicide. The timing differed, but Germansky and Livermore shared one distinct character trait. Both were very good at getting rich, and both were bad at staying rich. You may not describe yourself as rich, but there is a lesson to be learned from this observation, and it applies to everyone, regardless of their income level. Morgan Housel concludes this story with a very beautiful quote. "Getting money is one thing, keeping it is another. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.